Israel, shalom to the Torah, Shaz Yasha Allah, giving the chorus, all on the glory and praise unto Yahweh. Bahashima Mashah, Malak Yahweh Shah, that's all praises, honor, glorification unto the Most High God Yahweh. In the name of His only God, Son Yahweh Shah, this brother Yasha Allah coming back to y'all yet another video through the Spirit power Yahweh. Bahashima Mashah, Malak Yahweh Shah. All right, shalom, shalom. Kwam Yasha Allah. All right, we'll get straight into this. All right, get straight into it. Basically going into why in the hell does it seem like time is flying, right? We want to touch on this topic real quick, the spirit power Yahweh Shah, and understand that through the precepts, the Lord does make mention of this, all right? That the fact that the days is going to be shortened, but for a particular reason, all right? I'm about to read that. It's the book of Matthew, chapter 24, all right? Matthew, chapter 24, and I'm going to start at verse 21, all right? Give a little context, all right? Because every scripture, you need context, all right? And that's what a lot of people do. They take scriptures out of context, and then that's how you lead it out of your destruction, right, or into your destruction. So actually, I'm gonna start at verse 20, right? It says, Matthew 24, verse 20. But pray ye, right, that your flight be not in the winter, neither on the Sabbath day, right? What is that flight going into? Now, originally, right, we know that some things in Matthew 24, not everything, but sometimes certain things in Matthew 24, the Lord is actually talking about 70 AD. All right, but a lot of things in Matthew 24 is talking about the days of now, all right, the days that we're living in now and the days that are to come in the near future, right? It says, pray that your flight be not in the winter, neither on the Sabbath day. So we want to pray that the Most High, right, when all hell breaks loose, is not in the winter, all right, or on the Sabbath day. You know, you don't want all hell to break loose during Jacob's trouble, and now you have to worry about, you not only have to worry about where to eat, or how to get food, or how to survive, but you also have to worry about the severe weather, all right, being cold, all right? It would be better if it was a little warmer than if it was cold, because now you have to figure out, okay, how can I stay warm, all right? Because, you know, during the season where it's cold, it's very hard to maintain, all right? And it says neither on the Sabbath day. So we don't want our flight to be on the Sabbath day either, you know, literally all hell breaking loose, martial law, all that stuff kicking off on the Sabbath day either, because we know that on the Sabbath, right, you can't do certain things. You can't do any work. You can't get on fire. And so therefore, that's how, you know, that's why it would be a little bit more challenging if all hell were to break loose on the Sabbath, right? But it says what? Verse 21, for then shall there be great tribulation, such as was not since the beginning of the world to this time, no, nor ever shall be. So during the time of Jacob's trouble, it's going to be, look, as the Lord said, Slakia. For then shall be great tribulation. So there's going to be great tribulation during Jacob's trouble, right? Great tribulation. Now, when the Lord says that, hey, I don't even know how much that is. I don't even know how much that is. The Lord does talk about Jacob's trouble in Jeremiah chapter 30. Or he does talk about Jacob's trouble in Jeremiah chapter 30, right? In verse 6 on down, right? Let me get that real quick. He does talk about that. And the Lord does talk about how great and terrible this day is gonna be, right? This day of Jacob's trouble. Let's go to Jeremiah chapter 30 and verse number 6. Ask ye now and see whether a man doth travail with child. Wherefore do I see every man with his hands on his loins, and as a woman in travail, and all faces are turned into paleness. So Jeremiah was looking into the end times. He was looking at Jacob's trouble. All right, and Khan, Shalom, Yahweh, Shalom, Barakatah, Khan. He's looking at Jacob's trouble. He's looking at the future, the days that are in our near future, and he's saying, look, why am I seeing every man with his hands, right? It says hands on his loins as a woman in travail. They're in pain, like how a woman is in labor and is pushing out that baby, right? He's looking at and seeing that, oh shoot, look at all of them. They're in pain. They're in great tribulation, right? It says what? Verse 7. Alas for that day, great. What day is that? It's going into the day of Jacob's trouble. It says, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it. So yeah, during the time of Jacob's trouble, a lot of us is going to be killed. 2/3 of our people is going to be cut off and die. That's Zechariah 13 and verse 6 on down, right? And we know that. We know that during Jacob's trouble, a lot of us is going to die, right? But there's going to be actually quite a few Israelites that's actually going to make it out. And we know that the 1/3 is actually going to make it out of here. That's why it says, but he shall be saved out of it. So Israel is going to be saved out of Jacob's trouble, but a lot of Israel at the same time is going to be dying, right? But let's go back to this in Matthew chapter 24. That's what Yahweh Shai is talking about, right? That's what Yahweh Shai is talking about. Before we can get to the kingdom of heaven and the glory and this beautiful, beautiful kingdom that we all desire to enter into and to live in, right? We have to go through much tribulation. And that's Acts chapter 14, verse 22. Let me get that precept real quick. This is the book of Acts, chapter 14, and verse number 22, right? It says, confirming the souls of the disciples and exhorting them to continue in the faith, and that we, through much tribulation, enter into the kingdom of God. So through much tribulation, that's how we're going to enter into the kingdom. And that great tribulation, right, is going into a multitude of things. It's going into a multitude of things. It's going into our day-to-day battles. It's going into, trying to struggle in this world financially, whether it be spiritually or physically, right? Maintaining a job, maintaining humble, maintaining just in this world, just staying to be a light in this world, right? In this dark world where darkness compasses us, man. It's sometimes hard to be that light. Sometimes you want to be drawn to that darkness. But the Lord said, continue in the faith, right? And that we must do, it's like you must do much tribulation. It says must do much tribulation. It's not maybe. It's not, maybe you're going through a little bit more, a little tribulation. The Lord said much tribulation, right? Enter into the kingdom of God. So that's how we get to the kingdom of the Most High God. And so, even on another fold, that great tribulation, that much tribulation, is also going into Jacob's trouble, right? Because you're going to have Israelites that make it through Jacob's trouble, right? So, like, I'm going to get a precept on that. 2nd Ezra chapter 5, 2nd Ezra 5 and verse 3. In the land that thou seest now to have root, shalt thou see wasted suddenly. So the land that we see to have root right now, you can go to Costco, you can go to Walmart, you can go to Save Mart, you can go to Lucky's, you can go to all these grocery stores, and you can see food there. All right, you can see food there. You can get your favorite food, or you can get water, whatever you want. All it's there. It's there. It's not like people is fighting over it. It's not like, hey, the inflation is bad, but it's not too bad, and we all know that it could be much worse, right? Hey, Jake talking about, hey, damn, this is $10. Hey, what if that was $100? Now it's really, right? And what if they wanted $100 for some for just some crackers? Now they're really bugging. Now that's super inflation, right? People talking about, oh man, gas is damn $5-6. Hey brother, what if there was no gas? What if there was no gas at all? So that now you can't do anything. Now you can't hop in your car and do whatever, right? So these things, all this stuff that we see to have root right now is going to be wasted suddenly, right? It says what? Verse 4, but if the Most High grant thee to live, so certain people is going to be granted to live during those times, though, those evil days. Thou shalt see after the third trumpet, pursuant to the book of Revelation, the 8th chapter, right? In that third trumpet, I believe that's Revelation 8 and verse 10 on down, right? Where it talks about that missile called wormwood, right? Just a sidebar. I'm going to get that precept just for edification, but let's go to Revelation chapter 8 and verse, see that I don't even have it in my pocket Bible, right? Revelation chapter 8 and verse 10. And the third angel sounded, and there fell a great star from heaven. Remember, that's not talking to Khan. That's right. The brother said, Khan, that's the spirit being the red, went through this not too long ago. Khan, that's right. Trying to maintain, trying to, strive together, man. That's all part of the battle. Khan, that's right. It says, and the third angel sounded, and there fell a great star from heaven. Remember, that's not talking about an actual star, right? Now you might be like, oh shoot, John, he's talking about shooting stars. So I knew shooting stars were in the Bible. That's not talking about a shooting star or whatever, right? It's going into actual missile, okay? Because when you see a missile from the sky, it actually does look like a so-called shooting star, right? It says what? There fell a great star from heaven, burning as it were a lamp, and it fell upon the third part of the waters, rivers, and upon the fountains of waters. And the name of the star is called wormwood, and the third part of the waters became wormwood, and many men died of the waters because they were made bitter. So if you didn't know, wormwood is actually, in the ancient world, it was used, and it's still used today, but not as prevalently, right? Now wormwood is actually it's not talking about a worm in a wood, all right, whatever. It's not talking about that. It's talking about an actual plant, It's talking about actual plant or herb, and it was one of the in the ancient world. It was known for being the most bitterest herb, right? That man knew, that mankind actually knew, right? Just one of the bitterest. Oh, Slaki, right? We back, Slaki. It was one of the. It was known as one of the bitterest herbs in the ancient world, right? So it says, many men be Slaki, and many men died of the waters because they were made bitter. So when that missile hit the water in the nations, many men died, right? And the reason why that star or that missile is called wormwood because of the destruction that came out of it, the bitterness, the bitter destruction that came out of it. So that's why. All right, that's why. So when we go back to this in 2nd Ezra chapter 5, verse 4, it says, "But if the Most High grant thee to live, thou shalt see after the third trumpet." You see that? Certain men won't even live through the first trumpet, the second trumpet, the third trumpet. Now the trumpets haven't even opened yet, because the 7 trumpets are going to open pursuant to the book of Revelation chapter 6, right? Chapter 6. Guess what? We're not even in the 5th trumpet, or it's like the 5th seal. The 7 trumpets are going to open when the 7th seal opens, right? And the 7 seals opens the 7 trumpets, pursuant to the book of Revelation 8, all right? But let's go to 2nd Ezra 5 and 4. It says, "Thou shalt see after the third trumpet that the sun shall suddenly shine in the night, and the moon thrice in the day," meaning your hope and your knowledge, your wisdom, and your faith is going to flourish in those days, because the Most High has allowed you to grant. It's like it has allowed you to live even through that great tribulation, right? Imagine that, you actually being able to live through Jacob's trouble. The Lord is just sustaining you, right? You thought you was going to die on the first day, but hey, you deep down you have faith in the Most High God, and He led you. He led you to water. He led you to safety. He led you in that right path, because it's really all up to the Most High at the end of the day. It's really all up to our faith and the Lord guiding us in that day. How are you supposed to know what you're doing wrong or right in Jacob's trouble? You know what I'm saying? We wouldn't know. We would have no idea, right? But it's really up to the Most High to guide us. You see that? So and I'm gonna get a quick precept, right? This is the book of 2nd Ezra, on 2nd Ezra 5 and 4. We get a precept on how faith is going to be flourishing. And that's what that goes into, that moon and that sun shining thrice in a day, right? 2nd Ezra chapter 6 and verse number 25. "Whosoever remaineth from all these that I have told thee shall escape and shall see my salvation in the end of your world." So there's going to be people that the Most High preserves in that day, who's going to see the end of the world. Most High willing, we're part of that number, right? "And the men that are received shall see it, who have not tasted death from their birth, because they believe in Yahweh," right? "And the heart of the inhabitants shall be changed and turned into another meaning. For evil shall be put out, and deceit shall be quenched. As for faith, it shall flourish." So faith is actually going to flourish in that day. Imagine you being able to survive Jacob's trouble, and the Lord just keeps preserving you everywhere you go. You go over here, damn, there's food. You go over here, oh, there's water. You go over here, you know what I'm saying? Any which way the Lord is preserving you, your faith is going to be flourishing, right? It shall flourish. Corruption shall be overcome, and the truth which has been so long without fruit shall be declared. You see that? So it's like, let's go back to the main topic though, right? Kind of got sidetracked, man. Right, but let's go to Matthew chapter 24. That was just a sidebar on that, right? But Matthew 24 verse 21, it says, "For then be great tribulation, such as will not since the beginning of the world to this time, no, nor ever shall be." So Jacob's trouble was going to be very, very horrific. Brothers had dreams about it. You know, hey, I've had dreams about it. Movies has displayed it. You know, just understanding that Jacob's trouble is no joke, right? It's no joke. But it says, let's keep reading. "And except those days shall be shortened." So except these days should be shortened, and in those days as well, right? It says what? During the days of Jacob's trouble, of course. It's not just going to be one day, all right? Jacob's trouble is not just going to be one day. You got Jacob's trouble and then Yahshua, right? Right after. It's not going to be just one day. We're led to believe it's going to be a multitude of days. However long the Lord, kind of has to play out, right? But it's going to play out that way. It says, "And except those days should be shortened, there should no flesh be saved," right? "But for the elect's sake, those days shall be shortened." So for the elect's sake, those days are going to be shortened. that these days and those evil days, those days are going to be shortened, man. Right? Because if the Lord didn't do that, there should no flesh be saved. Nobody would make it out because that's how evil those days are. And we can even apply this to now. That's why the Lord kind of, shortened up the days, because guess what? If the Lord doesn't do that, no flesh is going to be saved. Nobody's going to make it out of here, right? Because there's so much evil in this world, and evil is going to increase even during Jacob's trouble, you know. But nevertheless, the Lord said He has to shorten these days. I'm gonna get a precept. This book is Second Ezra. In fact, the Lord told Ezra to pray for shorter days, right? Because for the elect, that's just good news. The elect, they're going to get the kingdom. If you're the elect right now watching this video, and you would want the kingdom yesterday, bro. We want the kingdom yesterday. Lord willing, we're part of that number. But what we're saying is, hey, if the days are shortened, hey, that's all praise to the Most High. Because that just means that it's just sooner to the kingdom of heaven, sooner to getting out of here. You know what I'm saying? It's just sooner to get out of here. So let's go to 2 Ezra chapter 2. So you might be like, damn, like time is past. Hey, it's already damn September. It's like, damn, it's September already. What happened to June? What happened to July? What happened to August? Right? What happened to all these different months? What happened to all of that? It just, hey, I just blink and then boom, it's September. Blink again, boom, it's November. You know, I blink again, boom, it's the damn Passover. You know, hey, these things is like, the Lord is speeding this up for the elect's sake, so that they can get the kingdom. Right now, I'm gonna read this precept, but right, let's go to 2 Ezra chapter 2, verse 13. It says, "Go and ye shall receive. Pray for a few days unto you, that ye may be shortened." It's like that they may be shortened. The kingdom is already prepared for you. Watch. So, hey, the Lord is talking to Ezra, because Ezra is the elect. All right, Ezra is the elect. But it says, "Go and ye shall receive. Pray for a few days unto you." So the Lord literally told Ezra, hey, pray for a few days, bro. Pray for a few days. Pray that the times can be shortened, right? It says that they may be shortened. The kingdom is already prepared for you. So the Lord said the kingdom is already prepared for you. Hey, for certain men, certain women, the kingdom is already prepared for you, man. All you got to do is just take it. Right, like how the Lord said in Daniel 7:18, "But the saints of the Most High shall possess the kingdom, shall take the kingdom and possess the kingdom." You know? So they're just going to take it, man. It's like, yeah, I'm taking what's mine. You know? We want to inherit the things that is ours. So the Lord is shortening up the times for the elect's sake, because we know that these days are evil. Guess what? Hey, we need to get out of here, man. We need to get out of here ASAP, bro. ASAP, no Rocky. We need to get the hell out of this captivity. We need to get the hell out of this world. Because the more we're living in this world, we're not going to damn, you know what I'm saying? It's like, what I'm trying to say is, the more we live in this world, the worse. We don't want to continue in this world, man. Like how the Lord said, "For here we have no continuing city, but we seek one to come." In the book of Hebrews, chapter 13. I'm going to pull that real quick, man. I just quoted it, but I'm going to pull it, right? Let's go to Hebrews chapter 13. Hebrews 13 verse 14. "For here we have no continuing city, but we seek one to come." Right? Come on. Hey, hey, that's plain, man. Here we have no continuing city. You know, kind of like how the brother said, everything is vanity. The Lord said that. Even during the time of King Solomon, he said, "Vanities of vanities, all is vanity." Remember, King Solomon had everything. He had wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. He had women. He had men singers, women singers. He had chariots. He had horses. He had land. He had palaces, man. He probably had multiple houses. He had gold beyond measure. He was rich. Hey, one of the richest kings ever. You know what I'm saying? He had all this stuff. People envied him. People wanted to be him. You know, peace was in Israel. Everybody praised him. You know what I'm saying? And honored him as a king, as being the Lord's anointed, the son of David, whom everyone loved David, right? He'll tell you that in the book of 1 Samuel. Hey, everybody loved David, you know? So, you know, even during the time of King Solomon, he said, "Vanities of vanities, all is vanity," right? He even said that during that time. How much more now, man? How much more now? Jacob wants to be comfortable in this world right now, in this modern America, so-called America, Babylon the Great. You want to be docile and remain in this captivity right now, and you don't think it's vanity? You don't think there's vanity here? How much? Hey, because like how I said, King Solomon said during his kingdom that vanity, hey, vanities of vanities, everything is vanity. You know what I'm saying? Everything's vanity in this life, in this world. Because even in this world, nobody's seeking after righteousness. Everything in this world is corrupt, right? There's no real food. Hey, this music is fake. The people are fake, right? On a multitude of level. There's just spirits everywhere. You got our people messed up. You know, we have to go to work every day to provide. We have to work these crazy hours. You know, so it's just everything here is just vanity. So the Lord said you want to pray for a few days because that's kind of like how let me get this precept right. This is the book of Isaiah chapter 51. It's Isaiah 51 and verse number 14. The captive exile hasteneth that he may be loosed, and that he should not die in the pit, nor that his bread should fail. So imagine if you were in jail, right? You're going to try to do everything you can to shorten up your jail sentence, because they even have those kind of opportunities in jail. You can shorten up your sentence if you do certain X, Y, and Z. You know, hey, maybe we'll let you out a little early if you do this and third, right? So if you really hate jail, all right, if you really hate jail, you're probably going to do those things what they tell you. Hey, if you do this, we'll shorten your sentence. Instead of you serving 2 years, you'll serve 1.5. Hey, I'll take that. Shoot, that's six less months I gotta be in this hellhole. That's 6 less months I have to be serving in this jail, man. So if you really want to get out, you're gonna try to do everything you can to get out of that jail. So that's why we try to do everything we can to get out of here speedily, right? So that's why it says the captive exile hasteneth that he may be loose. He hasteneth, counting up the days, like I said, trying to do everything he can to get out of there quickly, because he doesn't like it there. Just like how kids, we don't, or damn, not even kids, but you know, if you go to school, you don't want to be there. You know, you want to be in that class, man. You looking at the clock, you checking the time. You asking, when is this period in again? Damn, 12:40. Damn, man, still got 40 minutes to go, man. So you can be like that. Those you look around, you see those students like that. You already know they want to be there. They're like checking the time every 5 minutes. You know, like this, trying to go to sleep or something, so they can speed up the time, or trying to be on their phone, pass the time. The captive exile hasteneth that he may be loose. He wants to get out of there, all right? And it says, and that he should not die in the pit, nor that his bread fail. We don't want to die here in America, man. If we die here, Lord willing, we're a martyr, right? But we don't want to die here. We want to be delivered. We want to be delivered out of this captivity. Slide, give me a second, right? We want to be delivered out of this captivity. That's what we want, right? So, let me get this precept real quick, right? This book of Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 4. All right, Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 4 and verse 10. He pleased God, and who is that? He is going to the righteous Enoch. Let me go to Genesis, right, the 5th chapter, 24 on. Right, but it says he pleased God and was beloved of him, so that living among sinners he was translated. So Enoch, he was translated. All right, he was translated, meaning he was delivered. Right, the Most High literally had a chariot come down and basically deliver him up. All right, deliver him up, for lack of better terms. It says, and was beloved of him, so that living among sinners he was translated. Yea, speedily was he taken away. So he was taken away speedily. Just like how we, Most High women, need to be taken away speedily, man. That's why we were praying for shorter days, right? Lest that wickedness should alter his understanding or deceive beguile his soul. So the Most High took him because all around Enoch was just wicked people. So that's why the Most High might have to take us speedily, because all around us is people that don't really care about the Most High, who's not seeking after him, not reading, you know. They don't care about reading. They don't care about The total lack of respect of the laws of the Most High God. Total lack of respect. You know, they don't. The Most High, like how the Lord said, they don't like to retain the Most High in their knowledge, right? In Romans chapter 1, everybody's thoughts is vanity. People is wavering to and fro. All this stuff, we don't like that, man. We don't like living here. You know, it says, "Yea, speedily was he taken away, lest that wickedness should alter his understanding, or deceit beguile his soul." Meaning, if he wasn't taken away speedily, if he was there for a little bit longer, he could have went back into he could have went into the world. He could have just changed from being righteous to wicked. Now the Most High got to kill Enoch too, you know, because if you're around the wicked for too long, you know, you might get seduced. That's what the Lord said. Let's go to Proverbs chapter 12. That's what the Lord is saying. We don't want to be here for too long, lest we go back into the world. God forbid, though. But that could happen. Being seduced by this world, because this world is very seducing. All right. Proverbs chapter 12 and verse 24. All right. Actually, I'm going to go to verse 26. The righteous is more excellent than his neighbor, but the way of the wicked seduceth them. So the way of the wicked seduceth the righteous. The ways of the wicked seduce the righteous. You might have Eve in the truth, and she's seduced by Eve in the world. How so? Why did I say this? Because certain ways or certain things, I would say even maybe Eve in the truth might have worldly Eve friends, and so they could be seduced, or she could be seduced by them, and remind her of things that she used to do, and then she will look at that, and if she thinks upon that too long, or is around them too long, God forbid, but then she goes back into what she was doing before. And that's what the Lord said, that certain people are going to do that, fall back into what they used to do, fall back into the world and the ways of it, right? That's for 2 Peter chapter 2, verse 21, and Hebrews chapter 10 and verse 39. The Lord said, "Now the just shall live by his faith, but if any man draw back, my soul shall have no pleasure in him." So the Lord said, if you draw back, the Lord is not going to have pleasure. That's why we can't be here for much longer, because you literally have a seducing woman, if you got ears to hear, a seducing woman in front of you, and you're just looking at it. You're trying to turn away your eye. You're looking every which way, and that gets weary sometimes, man. That gets weary. If you got ears to hear, this seducing woman that I'm talking about is this world, this America, Babylon the Great. It's everywhere. You pop up your phone, it's there. You go outside, it's there. Turn on the TV, it's there. You're trying to unplug for all internet, but you still have Satan plaguing your mind. It's everywhere, man. So it's like we have to get out of here soon, because we don't want to spend another minute in this wicked captivity. You know, it says what? It's lucky. I'm gonna go back to that Wisdom of Solomon 10 and 4 and 11. It says, "Yea, speedily was he taken away." It didn't say slowly. You know, it didn't say slowly. It says speedily was he taken away, lest that wickedness should alter his understanding, or deceit beguile his soul. Because you had a lot of wickedness going on around Enoch, so he could have got seduced by that. Being a righteous man that he was, not saying he would, but being a righteous man that he was, he might have got seduced by that and envy it and go back into the world, right? It says, "What for the bewitching and naughtiness doth obscure things that are honest, and the wandering of concupiscence doth undermine the simple mind." So it undermines the simple mind, right? And it waver. It's like it makes you waver. This world makes you waver. You know, this world makes you do certain things that you don't want to do, or makes you think certain thoughts that you don't want to think, right? This world tries to diminish your fire, you know? It tries to diminish your fire. And I would say it's a double-edged sword, because this world is like, it can make you more on fire, because you look at the state and condition of this world and you're like, damn, I got to go harder if I want to get out of here. But at the same time, it could throw water on your fire, because of all the stuff that comes with it. The stress, the wickedness, the seducing spirits, you know, X, Y, and Z. But it's lucky. I'm going to get the precept real quick in 2 Peter. All right, I'm going to get this 2 Peter chapter 2, verse 18. For when they speak great swelling words of vanity, they allure through the lust of the flesh, through much wantonness, those that were clean escape from them who live in error, right? So you have a lot of people, or basically, well, yeah, I would say a lot of people. It says they try to allure us through the lust of the flesh and through much wantonness, right? Those that were clean escape from them who live in error. Though people try to seduce you back into the world. That's Satan's job, is to seduce you back into the world, thinking that, oh shoot, just forsake the Most High and go back into the world and just smoke that blunt, or just fornicate, or just do what you want to do, and have no respect for the Most High. That's what Satan wants us to do, right? But we can't do that, and that's why we need these days to be shortened so that we can get out of here, to prevent that from happening. Not saying it's going to happen, but it's a possibility. Because if the Most High said that He didn't want lest that wickedness should alter Enoch's understanding, we're not better than Enoch. We're not more righteous than Enoch. So if Enoch had the possibility of falling out, we have that. If Peter had the possibility of falling out, that's Luke chapter 22, verse 31. The Lord says, Simon, Simon, Satan have desired to have you, that he may sift you as wheat, but I have prayed for thee. And when thou art converted, strengthen thy brethren. So the Lord said, he even saw Satan trying to get Peter. So if Satan wants Peter, so how much more us? You know what I'm saying? We're not better than Peter. All right? We're not better than Peter. So that's why we need these days to be shortened, because we don't want this wickedness to continue in this world. We don't want to be seduced any longer. All right? We don't want to be you kind of switching to and fro. Not we want to inherit the kingdom where there's actually rest. And the brother actually pulled a good precept as well. Isaiah 26:3. Thou will keep him in perfect peace whose mind is stayed on thee, because he trusted in thee. Exactly. And we want the Most High to keep us in perfect peace. So we got to stay our mind on Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai. All right, I'm going to close out this precept. All right, I'm going to close out with this precept. This is the book of 2 Esdras, chapter 8, and verse number 52. It says, for unto you is paradise open. So we want paradise, all right? It's not going into Waikiki, Hawaii. All right, this paradise is actually this place of the kingdom of heaven, all right? It's actually going into the kingdom of heaven where we're actually in rulership, right? It says the tree of life is planted. The time to come is prepared. Plantiness is made ready. A city is built, and rest is allowed. Yea, perfect goodness and wisdom. And that's what we want, that rest, because we're laboring so much in this captivity. We're laboring every day by day, and we're just seeing it throughout day by day that, damn, this world really just has nothing, right? This world really just has nothing for us. So, of course, we will want to get out of here and actually inherit things that we want to inherit, all right? But, I heard brother, Hawaii, But with that, Kwame Yasha, let the water for tuning in. These days need to be shortened, so let's pray that the Most High shorten these days. It's brother Yasha Ali, call on like Yahweh Bashima Mashak Wamalaki Awashah, right? Barakatah, 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 Shalom.